We are going away from graphing for a little bit, and we're going to be looking at some word problems that involve what we call consecutive integers. So first of all, let's define that. Consecutive integers are integers that follow each other in order. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, right? So consecutive means they're one right after the other. Now, there is a generic way to write this. So for our problems, you're not going to be given any of the numbers. You're going to be given just some information about the numbers. So we're going to have to call one of them x. So, for example, if I tell you that x is equal to 1, so we let x be 1, how would I get from 1 to the next number? X plus 1. How would I get to the next one? X plus 2. How would I get to the next one? X plus 3. How would I get to the next one? X plus 4, right? 1 plus 4 gives me 5. So that's our general term. So write it out in general terms for me. We start with x. We don't know what it is. The next number is always x plus 1. The number after that is x plus 2. To get to the next number is x plus 3, and so on and so on. So you're always just adding 1 for consecutive integers. We also have what's called consecutive odd or even integers. And consecutive odd or even integers are odd or even numbers that follow each other in order. So, for example, let's look at 2, 4, 6, 8, so on and so on. Okay? So we're just looking at the even integers that follow each other. So 2, 4, 6, 8. What about odd numbers that follow each other? 1, 3, 5, 7, so on and so on. Okay? And it doesn't always start with 1 or 2. I'm just using those as an example. But for our odd integers or even integers, we also have a rule. Okay, so does that make sense, guys? Yeah, so even though this one was evens and this one was odds, you're still adding by 2 each time. So it doesn't matter which one you're doing, still adding by 2 each time. So let's look at an example. Please write down the problem because all these problems are different, so I want you to know which one it is we're doing. So example 1. The product of 2 consecutive positive integers is 42. Your instructions are to find the 2 integers and their sum. Okay? So we're looking at 2 consecutive positive integers. Okay, so what I always do first is I list my integers in the general terms. Your first integer is always x. So first one that we're going to be working with is x. And we're just asked for two consecutive positives. So if my first one is x, what would the next one be? X plus 1, because we're just looking at consecutive. It doesn't say odd or even. Okay, so we're just looking for 2 integers. One is x and one is x plus 1. And now let's use the information that we have to solve the problem. So this is telling me that the product of those 2. So what does that mean I'm actually going to be doing? Multiplying. So this is going to be x times x plus 1 is equal to 42. Okay, so let's solve for x here. What property would I use? Okay, so what property would I use here? Distributive. So distribute. So that gives me x squared plus x equals 42. Any ideas of what else I could do? Does this look similar to something we've done? It kind of looks like diamond method, huh? But what do I need to do in order to be able to use diamond method? Yeah, set it equal to 0. So let's subtract 42 from both sides. So that's going to give me x squared plus 1x minus 42 equals 0. So using diamond method on that, what two numbers multiply to negative 42 and add up to positive 1? Good. Positive 7, negative 6. So that is x plus 7 times x plus 6 equals 0. Oh wait, x minus 6, sorry. Set each one equal to 0. So x plus 7 equals 0. X minus 6 equals 0. Subtract 7, so x equals negative 7. Add 6, so x equals positive 6. Okay. What does the problem tell us? That the integers are positive. So that means one of my answers doesn't work. Which one? Negative 7. So we can disregard negative 7. It's not positive. Okay, so what is the question asking? By solving for x, did I answer the question? I wanted to find the two integers. I found one of them. What would the next one be? If x equals 6, x plus 1 equals 7. And then I wanted to find their sum. What's their sum? 6 plus 7 equals 13. So that answers our question. So our two integers are 6 and 7. Their sum is 13. So you have to make sure that you are reading the question so that you know if you're answering it correctly or not. Because it's not always going to ask you what are the numbers. So example 2, we want to find two consecutive even integers such that the square of the second decreased by the first is 134. So there's a lot of information there. Okay? Alright. So if I'm looking for consecutive even integers, I'm going to list them here. The first one is x. What would the next one be? X plus 2. Good. So x and x plus 2, those are our two integers that we're working with. And here's what they give us. The square of the second. So the second one is x plus 2. So that means I'm taking x plus 2 and squaring it. Decreased by the first, and so then we are subtracting x is equal to 136 or 134. So we're taking the square of the second, x plus 2 squared, and then decreasing it by the first. So we can do this. How would I expand that problem? Can I distribute the exponent, or do I have to write it all out? You guys remember? We could do a equals x plus 2, yeah. I don't know if that would really help us much. Yeah, I say let's do this. So x plus 2 times x plus 2, all of that minus x. And then we want to move 134 to the other side. So is everybody okay with me just subtracting it now? And then setting it equal to 0? So I kind of did two steps in one. Okay, so before we can move on, we need to do x plus 2 times x plus 2. We FOIL it out for the sake of time. I'm just going to tell you. It's x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus x minus 134 equals 0. Combine like terms. So that's going to give me x squared plus 3x minus 130 equals 0. And then we can do diamond method on this. So two numbers that multiply to negative 130 and add up to positive 3. 13 and negative 10? Good. So that gives me x plus 13 times x minus 10 equals 0. So what would my two answers for x be? Negative 13 and positive 10. Which one do I need to discard? Why? It didn't say anything about it having to be positive. It's not even. It's an odd number, and we want an even number. So by finding x equals 10, did I answer the question? The question wants the two consecutive even integers, so we don't need the sum, just the numbers. So my first one is 10, and what would my next one be? 12. Okay, last example, example 3. Find two consecutive odd integers such that the square of the larger is 10 more than 5 times the smaller. Okay, two consecutive odd integers. So one is x and the other one is x plus 2. Okay, let's read the information we're given again. The square of the larger. Which one is bigger, x or x plus 2? X plus 2, and we're squaring it. So x plus 2 squared. So the square of the larger one is, what does is mean? Equals. So x plus 2 squared is equal to 10 more than 5 times the smaller. So you can either do 5x plus 10 or 10 plus 5x. Same thing. And now we can solve. So setting it up is the hardest thing. Solving, you guys are pros at. But it's setting up the entire problem that's the most difficult. And you just have to make sure you read the question carefully. So x plus 2, all of that squared. You have to actually expand that out. X plus 2 times x plus 2 equals 5x plus 10. Like I said, you can FOIL or use the box. It's going to come out to x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 5x plus 10. And now we want to move everything to the other side. So let's subtract 5x. And is everybody okay with me subtracting 10 in the same step? So 5x and 10 I'm subtracting. So that gives me x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. What two numbers multiply to negative 6 and add up to negative 1? Good, negative 3 and 2. So we get x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. So x equals, if I set each one equal to 0, here I get x equals positive 3 and negative 2. Which one do I have to throw out? Negative 2, because that one's not odd. So what's the question asking me? The question is just asking me to find the two integers. So one is 3, and what's the next odd number? 5. So 3 and 5. Those are answers.